Now, today's political panel, NewsNation contributors, former chair of the D.C. Democratic Party, A. Scott Bolden, and former member of the first Trump administration, Mr. Mick Mulvaney. Gentlemen, thank you both for your time. Scott, I want to start with you. And these buyouts. The Trump administration is dangling these buyout offers to tens of thousands of federal workers. Now there's this new block by a judge. We know it's an effort to save money, but, if too many people would happen to take this in various agencies, we could potentially see some major gaps in important roles that we all rely on. At what point do you think the American people will maybe get a clear outline of the administration's plan besides, saving the government money?
The transparency issue is always the core challenge with the White House. It is the White House that keeps giving to litigators like me because they keep trying to press the limits of what their legal limits are. And so what the judges said, we're going to put this off until he gets more information for, I think it's 3 or 4 days or a week or so. I don't remember from the report, but at this point in time, he's ordered the government to reverse itself, at least temporarily, and to extend this deadline. The real problem here is, are you usurping federal rights, the federal rights of these federal workers, which is a really complex legal piece that has lots of protections, lots of union support, and this buyout gives the executive branch the opportunity to rescind the buyouts. Remember, we don't have an approved budget or continuing resolution. That's coming up in a month or so. And then their rights would be usurped if the government rescinds the buyout. They don't have any appeal rights under this deal. And so lots of problems. And I know why the judge did what he did.
All right, so Mick, over to you. I mean, we know the administration is, saying that this backlash is anticipated. We have seen about, as Libby was telling us, and as we heard from Caroline Levitt there, we've seen about 40,000 workers take this so far, accept the buyout. When do you think, Mick, that we will see an actual plan? Do you think this will help, with the goal of saving our government money?
Oh, I'm not sure that you're going to save a lot of money with this. I think it's symbolic more than anything else. And making the argument the government's simply too big. I hear what my friend Scott Bolden is saying about usurping people's rights and so forth. But let's not lose sight of the fact, Nichole, this is a voluntary program. It's not like they're going in and taking something away from somebody unilaterally. It's like, look, here's the terms of the deal. If you want it, take it. The point about the possible rescission, the fact the government is not funded, that's a good point to make because the government is only funded through March. So technically, the White House only has the ability to commit funds until March, and these offers go until September. But I think everybody's sort of ignoring the reality of the fact that even if there's a lapse in funding, otherwise known as a shutdown in March, 100 times out of 100, we have refunded or funded again the government after the brief lapse in funding. Federal workers always get paid. So I get the technicalities, I get the details and so forth, but I think what's getting lost in all of the discussion about the minutia is that this is a voluntary program for people, and if they don't want to take it, they don't have to.
All right, and it's very easy for things to get lost because there are so many things happening right now. Mick, I want to talk to you about President Trump now asking for this list of all new hires at the CIA be sent to the White House. Do you have concerns about potential threats, not only to those agents, but also to national security?
I do worry when we put people's names out there. I understand the names are sort of coded. There's an initials and so forth. I'm not too worried about the CIA not being able to do business. I think there's 16 or 18 various intelligence groups and so forth. So I'm not really worried about that. Again, there's limitations on the program for national security. And if we need to backfill and hire people back, we obviously can. Look, who is this aimed at? There's going to be people in the federal government who don't want to work for Donald Trump. I used to work at some of the agencies where people would fit that description. And I think what they're just saying is, look, if you don't want to be here, we don't want you working here. I would think any employer would want that sort of attitude in their employers. If you don't want to be here, go someplace else, and here's some money to help you to do it. And I think that's what the big picture is here.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.